But in the long run, the wall was not very defensible. Nomads could break through it or go around it, bribe their way through it.
But the Great Wall was not only designed to keep barbarians out, it was also a symbolic dividing line, locking the Chinese in.
The Great Wall, in a sense, is a cultural marker as much as it is a military fortification. It's the way of the Chinese saying to the nomads, you stay out there and raise horses and sheep, and we'll stay in here and grow grain.
By 210 BC, the Great Wall had stretched over 3,000 miles, leaving an indelible mark on China's harsh terrain. But resentment was swelling into a rage against Shi Huangdi. Many in his kingdom felt the colossal barrier was not worth the toll it inflicted on the Chinese people. Once again, his enemies were plotting against him.
Shi Huangdi's final years were marked by what I think is reasonable to call paranoia. But as the old joke says, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean people aren't out to get you.
At least 3 assassination plots came very close to succeeding. Shi Huangdi struck back by turning China into a virtual prison for its people. He ordered all historical records of his ruthless regime destroyed. Punishment for anyone who didn't comply was forced labor or even death. Some 400 people were buried alive as a lesson to those who spoke out against the regime. When the emperor's eldest son objected, even he was banished. Shi Huangdi's brilliant vision had transformed China into a great empire, but he paid the price with a descent into madness. He would now turn his obsessions and his army of forced labor to another stunning feat of construction begun years earlier. A monument to his own fear and death. In the 1040s, movable type printing was invented in China, a huge development in the history of printing. By 220 BC, Qin Emperor Shi Huangdi has united China for the first time. On the northern border, millions are toiling and dying, laying the foundation for China's signature engineering triumph. The 3,000-mile-long Great Wall. But the first emperor wasn't done. Even as he fought against other Chinese kingdoms and his own demons, Shi Huangdi began to garrison nearly 700,000 men near his capital in central China to build the most personal of all his engineering projects, an epic tomb he had begun planning at the age of 13.
This was a monumental project that required the labor of thousands and thousands of people over a very long time. It was, by design, the biggest and best tomb that China had ever known.
In 1974, farmers digging a well came face to face with an ancient Chinese warrior. The mysterious terracotta skull would prove the gateway to one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time.
The mound is huge. The mound was always known to be the tomb mound of the first emperor. What was a total surprise was the army of terracotta warriors about 1 kilometer to the east of the tomb, who presumably were guarding the approach to the tomb itself.
Season after season of excavation since the 1970s has yielded more than 5 large pits.
The individualized faces and drapery and armor suggest that each one of these warriors was molded from the life from an individual separate human being. The precision and detail in the sculpting, the firing of the clay are unmatched today. These warriors are a colossal achievement, and some believe the greatest archaeological find of the 20th century. But they are only the tip of the iceberg, because this ghost army only served as a guard detail for an engineering feat as fantastic as the world has ever known. The